So many of us, myself included, to keep it real, have spent too much time this past year in the digital space, whether it's Zoom calls for school or work or to catch up with loved ones, or maybe even binging on our favorite shows during lockdowns. We're all watching screens a lot more. But what is all of this screen time doing to our brains? And could the impact be long-lasting, especially for kids? ABC's Lena Roy reports.
I think with the social media, the big thing is their comparison. They are doing so much comparisons with other people out there on the different platforms. The bullying, the ugly stuff that goes on where people are not supportive with each other, the harassment. The fear of missing out, I think that's a thing with some of them. It's like, I'm gonna miss something, so they just wanna scroll, scroll, scroll and check into it.
I think it has a big impact. They've done a lot of studies that have shown that as the social media use of teenagers has risen, so has anxiety and depression rates. So I think that that plays a part. I think that in some ways it's been helpful in that it's started to take away the stigma of having mental health issues because you kind of see other people who are sharing it. But at the same time, I think it can kind of be a deterrent or a problem or a deterrent because there's a lot of information that's not accurate, right? So kids are diagnosing themselves according to something that they saw, or they are seeing, I don't want to say cures, or certainly things that are supposed to help mental health that are not being endorsed or even approved by a professional. So I think that there's a mix of it.
Kind of like have the in-person social skills to kind of communicate. We don't need that anymore, honestly. So, and when we do get put into a in-person situation, we don't know how to deal with it. And I'd say that's really for teens and adults. I think that it bleeds in. And this is all new stuff. We're all living it in real time.
Some of the major developments we're following on this Monday. More than 11.4 million cases of coronavirus that we know of around the world. At least 534,000 deaths as more than 6.1 million recover.
I think COVID certainly played a part. I think COVID kind of shook everyone up and we realized like the world is not necessarily a stable place, that things can kind of be disrupted. I think that was hard. I think the isolation that we faced when we were, when schools shut down and even when schools were kind of half open, I think for a lot of kids that isolation and that lack of really learning social skills and being with their friends had a huge impact.
All the research shows that definitely with the pandemic, that was a huge impact in mental health going down for kids. In addition, since then, social media, technology to some degree are definitely contributing factors. Social isolation, family conditions, those are all impacting our young people's mental wellness.
Not really knowing how to handle our feelings, the fear of rejection, and like we don't really have coping mechanisms anymore. So, or time to process something that's happened. It's everything's in the media in time. So I think those all lead to having an anxious type reaction to everything.
As you see this rise in anxiety, I think that kids are almost avoiding things, and then the anxiety gets worse. I don't know if that makes some sense, but I also think that the social media plays a part as they see kind of these ideal versions of what teenage life should look like, and then they kind of compare it to what their own life looks like. There becomes this anxiety of not doing enough. There's this anxiety of not meeting certain kind of societal standards.
I think one of the most recent ones is probably like depression. A lot of people struggle with that. It's a real thing, and I think it should be taken lightly.
Yeah. I have a lot of friends, and I personally experience a lot of depression and anxiety. There are I know a lot of kids with insomnia and PTSD, and yeah, it definitely needs to be taken seriously, and it can be debilitating for schoolwork. So.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't even know for sure with some of the issues with our students. Well, ADHD is one that I see. Certainly depression and anxiety a dance, but I don't have students necessarily coming to me and talking with me about that. I love that we have such a strong counselor base. Teachers shouldn't be the first line in trying to support that. Getting them to someone that's more skilled is better.
Now I'm sad, but then I'm going to be depressed. And you're not depressed, you're sad, and just like normalizing that these are normal behaviors. We are happy, we are sad, and if we don't go through those emotions, then there's something wrong. You have to go through the ups and downs. You have to go through challenges. That's how this all works. And for any person, teen or an adult, that wants to have happiness, they have to go through the hard parts first, sadness.